Good day, everybody. It's Carpo. I was going to talk about sickness for a minute. There seem to be two schools of thought on sickness. One is that sickness resides independent of man, and that man becomes infected with a sickness, and it's something out of his control, such as a communicable disease. Then there's another school of thought which says that all disease arises from man's inner self, lacking in some sort of a way to think past it, I guess. And I've been in the middle. I've seen the two sides of thought, on it. You've got you have a group of people who say that we have no influence over how sick we get, that it is what it is. Now, of course, we know that's not true anymore. Science has already been able to prove consistently that people influence how they react to certain diseases, as well as mental healing, and people who have a positive outlook on things heal faster. And that's just how it is. Now, that could be because positive thinking puts less stress on your immune system and that your body can fight back. But there's this level of I guess there's a large group of people out there who believe that all sicknesses and every sickness and ailment is due to the mankind's own actions, that it's the person's own fault if they're sick, or the person's own fault if something happens. And like an ancient approach was that we all create our own realities, I guess, and that we won't get sick if we don't consider ourselves able to get sick, I guess. And I find that kind of preposterous to an extent, because I've heard a lot of people really back that one up, that's saying, well, if you're sick, then it must have been something you did wrong, and as if it's a payment. That's kind of in a way, a Buddhist philosophy on it, that we suffer until we learn how to not suffer. But when a large group of people in one area gets sick, and everyone gets sick from a virus, it becomes like, how do you say, well, they were all negative thinking, or they all needed to get sick, and we've not understanding why we get sick, we put a face on it. People say, oh, God's angry, and this is where the angry God came to be, was through people not being able to explain why these things happen, and saying, well, if we're loved and the whole world is full of loving people and everything's great, then it'll be fine. But since people are acting out or doing things they shouldn't, then God's angry and he causes catastrophes and disasters and viruses and plagues. And there have been cases of plagues where people had got an ailment in an area, and they were able to heal themselves by doing some extreme thing. One guy ran and jumped into a river, and supposedly he was fine after that. And they asked him why, and he said, I don't know, maybe the fear of drowning was stronger than the fear of the disease. So there's no way to really scientifically approach this, because these things happen too often. When a person goes into remission from cancer, there have been countless stories of people who go into remission after trying either natural cures, or by positive thinking, or whatever it may be, prayer, whatever you want to use. And when they're healed, the doctors would never ever say, well, it must have worked. They always assume it's what they gave them, or the last medicine that they tried. So there's no way we're ever going to get past this idea that a person can heal themselves, because there's no doctor in the world who would let a person heal themselves and not take some credit for it. But I don't know. This is one of those subjects that I don't know shit about. I just wanted to kind of see what people think about the whole self-healing thing and how far it really goes, and if there's a major disease that's wiping out a lot of people, we can't assume that it's the individuals that are causing the problems for themselves. But we can see it as like a group of society kind of doing it, kind of paying for the sins of the whole, I guess. But I don't know how far I would take that either. I think that people are going to get sick. That's just how it is. And I really feel bad for folks who are sick and have other people tell them that it's their own fault or that they caused it. You know, this goes as far as, you know, people losing legs or going blind or deaf, you know, saying, well, this is, you know, what nature did to you. You know, it's easy to make a reason or justification as to why it happened, but I don't know. I don't think there's any real resolution to figure out exactly how well we can heal ourselves unless we independently try it. So for example, if you get sick and you're taking medicine and then you try a moment of like focus, like sit down and do mental healing, how are you going to know which one really did it? You know, I think the idea would be to convince ourselves that we're able to mentally heal, because then that gives us that much more power in our own brains to fight the diseases. See, we have all these cells working for us in our body, and when a foreign invader comes, you know, we have to utilize our computer, our brain, in order to program our bodies to say, fight this disease. And if fear reigns supreme, then we're going to be conquered, because fear strips away all of our immunity. And yeah, that's about it. Just some ideas about that. Don't really know what else to say. I've tried to mentally heal my pain. It's hard, especially when you're in pain. Take care.